Is it a bad time to build a home? With the increased cost to build a house and home prices skyrocketing, a lot of people think that the housing market is going to crash. But what if the housing market doesn't crash? What if home prices continue to increase? What if mortgage rates go up too? These are real questions, and if you guess wrong, there will be real consequences. If you buy and the housing market crashes, the value of your home could decrease by tens of thousands of dollars. But if the market doesn't crash and home prices keep going up, along with mortgage rates, many of you will no longer be able to afford a home. It's painful, I know. And because I care so deeply for you, I'm going in depth to answer the question, should I build a home right now or should I wait? Hi, I'm Ty the Real Estate Guy, and if you'd like to stay up to date on the latest real estate tips and trends, subscribe to my channel below and ring that little bell. If you have questions or comments at any time during this video, please leave a message below. I'll do my best to respond to each one of you. If you're looking to buy, sell, or build a home in Utah, please feel free to call or text. I would love to talk with you. Also, if you watch to the end, I'll make some recommendations to guide you through the new home construction process. First, I should answer the question, is the housing market going to crash? Before I do, I need to explain that housing markets crash when an overabundance of homes suddenly hit the market. That's what happened in 2008 when the values tumbled by 33%. This isn't 2008, not even close. If you do even just a little bit of research, you'll find that there's almost no similarities between today's market and 2008, except for the skyrocketing home prices. So, is the housing market going to crash? To be blunt, the answer is no. And I'm 100% certain. Why? Because number one, there are still millions of Americans who can afford to buy homes at today's prices, and they're ready to buy right now. Number two, we are in a severe housing shortage. In other words, there are a lot of people who are looking to buy a house right now, and there just aren't enough homes available. If you understand the principle of supply and demand, then this alone should be enough information to explain why the housing market is not going to crash. It really is that simple, but there are other things happening that further solidify the housing market. For instance, there will not be a huge number of foreclosures because most people purchased a house before prices shot through the roof, and many current homeowners, millions upon millions of Americans, have a mortgage rate below 3%. That means they have an extremely affordable house payment and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity. The chance of mass foreclosures suddenly hitting the market are small to say the least. Now, at some point, pricing in many markets will start to plateau, and in many other areas, you may see a correction, but the housing market will not crash. If you'd like to take an in-depth look at why the market is not going to crash, when you're done watching this video, check out my recently released video, The Unbelievable Truth About the Housing Market Crash. I'll put a link to that video below. Okay, so is it a good time to build a house? The answer is yes, at least for most of you. I'll explain in a moment, but before I do, I need to make sure you have a basic expectation of the home build process, especially in this wild and unpredictable market. First, if you build a home from scratch, the builder could come back to you months after signing the contract and explain that due to increased cost, you'll need to pay more for the house than the original agreed upon price. If you're not willing, the builder will most likely return your deposits and cancel the contract. It's not happening often, but it's definitely a possibility. Also, it could easily take more than a year for the home to be completed from the day you sign the contract. So you want to make sure you have stable housing until that home is completed. If the builder gives you an estimated closing date, be prepared for delays and for that closing date to be pushed back. The home build process is confusing and it's often overwhelming. So before you commit to building a home, you should have a firm understanding of the home build process. I recommend you watch the home build timeline. I'll put a link to this video below as well. And just so you know, I'm not trying to push my other videos. I just want to keep my current video as short as possible, but give you the option to quickly find an in-depth explanation for the things I might just touch on. Okay, let's get to it. Once again, I want to remind you to watch all the way to the end because I'm going to tell you why it doesn't matter if the housing market crashes or not. Okay, so is it a bad time to build a home? The short answer is no. And here's the long answer as to why. Number one, I've already mentioned the housing shortage. A healthy housing market should have a 6-month supply of homes, meaning that if no new homes were listed, it would take about 6 months to sell through the available houses. In a lot of housing markets around the country right now, there's only a 1 to 2 month supply of homes. What has caused the housing shortage? The biggest problem is that home builders have been underbuilding since the market crashed in 2008, and the home builders can't build homes fast enough. When you add the sudden surge of home buyers flooding the market, you get what we see today. So when you start searching for a house, it's going to be difficult to find one. In today's market, when a home is listed, it will most likely sell in just days, receiving multiple offers, often well above the asking price. It's usually easier to buy a new construction home instead of an existing home. Normally with a home builder, you can avoid a multiple offer situation. Number two, home prices are expected to increase. Low supply plus high demand equals skyrocketing home prices. Because we're still in a severe housing shortage, the market won't crash and home prices will continue to increase. The sudden demand for housing has home builders working overtime, but they just can't build houses fast enough. To make matters worse, the cost to build continues to increase due to the overwhelming demand for building materials. The shortage of building products and available homes is so severe in many parts of the country that months, if not years, will pass before the supply catches up with the demand. So in most housing markets, people will still be buying homes through the year 2021 and most likely well into 2022. Remember that when you build a home, at least with most home builders, when you write the contract and make all selections, you lock the price of the house. So even if home values increase by tens of thousands of dollars while your house is being built, your price will remain the same. When your home is finally completed, you'll already have tens of thousands of dollars in equity before you even make a house payment. Here in Utah, some people are moving into their home a year after signing a contract with over $100,000 in equity. Obviously, this is not normal, but things like this will happen when there's a housing shortage. Number three, building a home is better than buying existing. Why? Because everything is new. You can live maintenance-free in your new home for several years. This will save you time, money, and the inconvenience of having to repair and replace things. New homes are energy efficient. They are built to the latest building codes with the newest building materials. Existing homes are dirty, even if they're professionally cleaned. Pets and children can be filthy little creatures. And if one of these little animals has an accident on the carpet, it will most likely soak through the pad and into the subfloor to remain forever. Forever. One accident probably isn't that big of a deal, but some pets are constantly dropping bombs and going potty in the home. But we can't blame it all on the pets. Even grown-ups can be disgusting. Also, when you build, you have the option of multiple floor plans from multiple home builders in the area. With an existing home, you can only select from the available inventory, and the house layouts and features are often outdated. Really, this just scratches the surface. If you'd like to go in depth, check out my video, Building versus Buying Existing. I'll put a link to that video below as well. Number four, COVID-19. The coronavirus has drastically increased the demand for housing. People have decided that they no longer want to live in cramped spaces, and they're moving out of their high-density housing, places like apartments, condos, and townhomes. For the same reason, people are also moving away from large cities in record numbers. And thanks to Corona, a lot of people can work remotely, and they now have the freedom to live wherever they want. But this new work-from-home lifestyle also has people rethinking the type of home they want. A home gym, a home office, and space to entertain is suddenly high on the priority list. This mass migration is causing certain housing markets to explode, with home prices increasing by more than 20% in just 1 year. In Utah County, where I live, home prices are up 30% year over year. COVID-19 has also negatively impacted the supply of homes, as a lot of people have decided not to sell their house, choosing to stay put and try to pay off their house instead. Now, I'm going to pause real quick because I'd love to hear your thoughts on the housing market. Do you think it's going to crash or just keep on going? Please Comment below and tell me why. Also, will you please give this video a thumbs up? I would appreciate it more than you know, and that thumbs up will help others see that this video is helpful. Thanks. Number 5, rather you build or buy existing, owning a home will give you some incredible tax deductions. This makes owning a home less expensive than it seems. You can write off your mortgage interest, property taxes, and the mortgage insurance premiums, saving you thousands of dollars per year. Side note, I am not a tax expert, so please talk to your local tax professional for specific things you can do to maximize your write-offs. Number 6, stability. High density housing often has high turnover. That makes it hard to build deep, lasting relationships. Moving into a neighborhood with single-family homes creates a more stable environment for you and your family because many of your neighbors will live in the same house for many years. This means you're much more likely to find your BFF. Also, crime tends to be much lower in single-family neighborhoods. A huge advantage to building a home is that most people are new to the area. And just like you, they're looking to make some new friends. Number 7, crazy low mortgage interest rates. These near record low mortgage rates make it an incredible time to buy a home. Yes, home prices have increased significantly, but these super low rates have done a lot to keep your monthly mortgage payment affordable. And because the cost to rent has also skyrocketed, these lower mortgage rates in many cases make it cheaper to buy a house than what it would cost to pay rent. And because rates are around 3%, for the first time, a lot of people can afford to build a house, or they now have the ability to build a larger home than what was previously planned. As a home buyer, these crazy low mortgage interest rates are a gift, increasing your buying power by $50,000 to $70,000, greatly reducing the impact of these rising home prices. Obviously, mortgage rates won't stay this low forever, and there's a good chance we will never see rates this low again. That's why you should strongly consider building a home right now. Remember that it can take 8 to 12 months to build a home from the time of contract, so make sure you're prepared in case rates do come up a little bit. If you have the ability to build a house, the time is now because prices will just keep climbing and so will mortgage rates. At the rate home prices are increasing, waiting even a month or two could easily cost you tens of thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. If you're a first-time home buyer, home prices are rising so fast that you could quickly be priced out of the market, losing the chance to build a house. You may be forced to buy a smaller, older home, or instead of buying a house, you may be forced to purchase a condo or a townhome. Or even worse, you could get stuck paying rent. If you're a first-time home buyer and you're not sure what steps to take, please message me below. If you live in Utah, feel free to contact me directly so we can make a plan. Number 8, buying a house is a great investment because over time, home values have always increased. Instead of throwing your money away on rent, you can apply that monthly payment towards purchasing a house. Yes, home values fluctuate. For instance, home prices increased 14% in 1979, but home prices decreased a staggering 33% during the recession. That being said, home prices have been increasing for nearly a decade now, and they've been skyrocketing over the last year now. Nationwide, home values have increased by nearly 15%. These wild swings are not normal. You should expect your home to increase by approximately 3.7% per year. If you're building a home that you plan to live in for the next 30 years, then you shouldn't worry too much about these market conditions. It's more important to look at your monthly payment and make sure you're comfortable with it. Owning a home is one of the fastest and safest ways to create wealth. And real estate has helped more people become millionaires than any other means of investing. Number 9, as mentioned earlier, owning a home is better than paying rent. As a renter, you'll most likely pay more than $500,000 in rent over a 30-year time period. And after 30 years, you'll have nothing to show for it. And you'll still be paying rent until you die. How sad is that? But if you build a house, after 30 years, it should be paid off, which means you can live the rest of your life without a monthly payment. People often retire once their house is paid off because they can now live on a fraction of their income. Imagine how nice life would be living rent-free. Seriously, think about it. What would you do with an extra $1,500 to $2,500 every month? You could travel, buy your dream car, invest, or do whatever you want. For a lot of homeowners, the equity built over those 30 years is so large that they're able to sell that home and pay cash for a smaller house and retire on the remaining equity. For many others, it provides the freedom to move to a more desirable location. Let us not forget that rent always increases over time, while your mortgage payment will pretty much always stay the same. There are loads of reasons why owning a house is better than renting. And you guessed it, I've already gone in depth on this subject in another video. If you're currently paying rent, you need to watch renting versus owning a home. Look for the link to this video in the description below. Number 10, most of the advantages that I've spoken about so far have been financial. I'm sure at this point, you can clearly see why financially, building and owning a home is a wise choice. But words can't explain how wonderful it is to own and live in a house. For me personally, building my homes, especially this last one, has been a dream come true. I was able to customize my home to my family's lifestyle down to the last detail. Not only that, we got to select the community that we wanted to live in on an amazing home site. Our home is a place of refuge from the world. For children, your home will be the center of their entire universe. It will become a place where the most special memories are made from birth to high school graduation. Honestly, there are no words to explain how beautiful it is to own a home. Believe me, I've tried. But they call homeownership the American dream for a reason, and the sacrifices that you make to become a homeowner will be worth it. When it comes to purchasing a home, whether you're looking to build or buy existing, the first most important question that you should ask is, do I really want a home? If the answer is yes, speak to a lender to find out how much home you can afford and what your monthly payment will be. If you're comfortable with that monthly payment, have stable employment, and plenty of money in reserves, then real estate is pretty much always a great investment. If you still feel good about building a house after speaking to a lender, then study your local housing market. Why? Because real estate markets can vary significantly from one location to another. Pretty much the only thing that should stop you from buying a home is if you really believe that the housing market is going to crash. But even then, especially when mortgage rates are this low, you may want to move forward anyway. Quick story, when I built my home in 2007, I knew before I closed on the house that I was going to lose some equity right off the bat. I didn't know it was going to be that bad, but either way, we still would have moved forward with the purchase of that home anyway. Why? Because we could easily afford the monthly payment, I didn't want to live in a rental, and because home values have always gone up over time. Yes, the value of that home decreased nearly $100,000, but here we are 13 years later, and that same house is worth more than 2 times what I paid for it. In my humble opinion, the most important factor is your monthly payment. The total monthly mortgage payment on that home was approximately $1,300 per month for 3,400 finished square feet. Today, the cost to rent a home like that would be around $3,000 per month. Maybe I should have kept it as a rental. Okay, here's my final thoughts on the current housing market. If mortgage interest rates stay below 3.5%, people will continue to buy houses, which means home values will continue to rise. But if by some unexpected reason, mortgage rates increase to 4% or higher, things would definitely slow down and maybe even stop. In a lot of markets, home prices will hit a point where they're just too expensive, and that'll take enough buyers out of the market to a point where pricing will stabilize. This could start to happen by the end of this year in several metros. But in scorching markets like Utah, homes should continue to sell and home prices should continue to rise through 2022. Really, the most important thing is your monthly house payment. If you can buy a home and have a mortgage payment that you're really comfortable with, you really shouldn't care what the market does, because over time, the cost to rent will increase while your mortgage payment will stay the same. Not only that, you'll build some solid equity over time as you pay your house down and as home values increase. Maybe I should have talked more about inflation, but take comfort in the fact that owning a home is a great way to hedge against inflation. From the bottom of my heart and my wallet, I know that owning a home will be one of the best financial decisions that you ever make. Now, if you decide that you're ready to move forward with building a home, remember that the home build process is confusing and it's often overwhelming. So as promised, here's my recommended videos to help guide you through the process of building a house. 10 questions you should ask home builders. How to find a home builder. How to buy from a home builder. How to choose the best home site. How to save money building a home. The home build process, step by step. If you're planning to move to Utah or you already live here and you're looking to buy, sell, or build a home, I would love to talk with you. Please feel free to contact me directly. If there's something in this video that stood out to you as being helpful, or if you have questions, please comment below. Sincerely, I want to hear from you. If you know someone who's thinking about building a home, please share this video with them. And please don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and ring the bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Ty, the Real Estate Guy. If you found this information helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to ring that little bell below. It'll make you feel good.